So here's the thing. This is actually a really good piece of info for the Montreal Canadiens. It's honestly amazing. And at first glance, you might say, oh yeah, of course, it's good. Like, the Canadiens are doing some pretty good work. But once you dive into the granular details, then it becomes illuminated just how amazing this really is. So, I wanted to refer to the Puckpedia.com assessment of the Montreal Canadiens right here. You can see that in terms of NHL teams with salary cap space to spare, the Habs are one of 3 teams that currently don't have any space. They are $4.52 million over the salary cap. And we know that that's not necessarily a problem for Montreal. They have Carey Price and his $10 million AAV deal, 10.5, excuse me. He'll go on LTIR. The Canadiens will be allowed to spend $10.5 million over the salary cap, meaning that they kind of have $11 million in cap space at the moment. But this, of course, is going to be tainted by whatever salary bonuses and extra Schedule A, Schedule B things are accomplished by rookies and young guys in the Canadiens organization. In particular, you've got a very young, talented Russian player in Ivan Demidov who has a lot of potential, and if he ends up winning the Calder, getting a certain amount of points, helping the Canadiens make the playoffs, there's no telling how many extra dollars this guy can earn on his salary for next year, which will hurt the Montreal Canadiens if they end up venturing into LTIR territory with their cap status. So while right now it's not ideal to see them be $4.5 million over the salary cap, what I wanted to do was turn your attention to a tweet made by JFresh that goes out there and talks about just how good Montreal really has it. Let's go out there and see this. So, JFresh posted this yesterday. It's a tweet about Carolina. It's not even about the Habs, it's about the Hurricanes. He said here that the Canes are betting that long-term contracts combined with big projected cap increases will give them a big edge in the next 6 to 8 seasons. As soon as 2027-2028, their deals for Sebastian Aho, Nick Ehlers, K'Andre Miller, Seth Jarvis, Jacob Slavin, Logan Stankoven, and the newly signed Jackson Blake are projected to take up only 44% of the salary cap. And posted down below is an image, a graphic that talks about the Hurricanes' long-term contract cap projections equivalent under the 24-25 cap, with cap percentage based on the NHL projections of 26 to 28, and an estimated 4% increase from 2029 to 2032. Essentially, it says here that Sebastian Aho and his $9 million AAV contract now will be worth $8.3 million next year when the cap rises up. It'll be worth $7.6 million in 2 years when the cap rises up even more, and then further and further down. By the time 2032 rolls around, Sebastian Aho's contract could be worth $6.5 million in today's money. Of course, the dollar amount stays the same. He's not going to make less and less and less, but he's going to make less comparative to the overall cap availability around the NHL, and that is expressed in the number that you see on the graph. Aho's contract in 2032 will be equal to a $6.5 million contract today, which means the Hurricanes have done some very tidy business in putting together a team of guys who are signed long-term in a salary cap world where the cap just keeps on going up, which will help the Hurricanes have more space to add more players and be better. Scrolling down over here, assuming the cap continues to grow, by 2029, this group of players, Aho, Ehlers, Slavin, Jarvis, Miller, Stankoven, and Blake, will have an average cap hit that's the equivalent of $5 million under last year's cap. Then we have ourselves a reply Regardless of how they structure this financially, the team needs superstar players to win a cup. Are any of these players good bets to become that? Maybe not, but this is presumably designed to give them the cap flexibility to get there. Say what you want about whether or not Jackson Blake deserves a $5-point-something million AAV contract. I mean, oh boy, imagine getting that kind of dollars for a guy who's only had one full NHL season. Anyways, the reason this relates to the Montreal Canadiens is because of Jay Fresh's follow-up afterwards. He went out there and tweeted this. The Montreal Canadiens are in a similar situation to Carolina. In 2029-2030, the group of Suzuki, Caufield, Slafkovsky, Dobson, and Guhle will be making around 31% of the cap. That's, on average, the equivalent of about $5.5 million under last year's cap each. So, think about it like this. By the time 2029-2030 rolls around, this group of guys will be making so few dollars compared to the expanded availability of the actual cap space the Canadiens have that it would be equivalent to about $5.5 million each under last year's cap. If Nick Suzuki continues to get better, if Cole Caufield continues to get better, if Slafkovsky and Dobson and Guhle continue to do well in Dobson's case and get better in the other guys' case, then by the time the end of the decade rolls around, these guys can be very, very good on very cheap deals that would be equivalent to under $5.5 million in last year's NHL season. That's incredible. That is so good. And honestly, I'm sorry. Carolina fans, y'all can hate me all you want, but I think that a group of Suzuki, Caufield, Slaf, Dobson, and Guhle has just a tad higher upside than Aho, Ehlers, Slavin, Jarvis, Miller, Stankoven, and Blake. Like, I get it. Aho, Ehlers, Slavin, Jarvis, these are top-of-the-line guys. They're fantastic. I do think the last three here, okay, maybe not Stankoven. I think Stankoven is going to be really good. But Miller and Blake especially, I do think these guys still need to prove a little bit more before they can fully be justified to making the amount of money that they are. Meanwhile, for these guys, I mean, Suzuki's already a top star. Caufield's there. Slafkovsky is almost there. I think he just needs to be a bit more consistent. Dobson's there, and Guhle is essentially on the brink of being there too. This is why we talk about the Canadiens and their cap structure. Just thinking about some of these guys and the money that they're making. Nick Suzuki's making $7.875 till the end of 2030. Caufield, $7.85. Slafkovsky, $7.6. These are all contracts that in a few years will be equal to a $5-point-something million AAV contract today. And then you go down into the other dudes here. Guhle, 5.55. Dobson, 9.5. That's a big contract for Dobson, but the guy had a 70-point year the other season, so I can understand it. Then, you go into Jay Fresh's reply on his own tweet here. He went out and posted this at the bottom. If they can get Hudson done long-term at less than $11 million, and Demidov locked up as soon as they can, the Canadiens will be in very good shape. Some of the replies go out there and say, hey, Demidov is going to be expensive. Yes, but if you have to pay him $12 million or whatever, it'll be good to have the rest of your core already locked in. And that, I think, is the biggest benefit to this sort of discourse. It's saying that, yeah, the Canadiens saving all this money by signing Suzuki, Caufield, Slaf, Dobson, and Guhle to these contracts will help them give the appropriate amount of dollars to Hudson and Demidov when they need it. When Hudson's ELC expires next year. He already has one final year left on that contract. He is eligible to sign an extension. At the time of recording this audio, if he already has it right now, then okay, we'll turn aside and make another commentary. But this is really good for the Montreal Canadiens. Super underrated commentary topic here. I want you to let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Just how good Kent Hughes has it, and how this team has assembled such a great salary cap structured team. And where do you see them going with it over the next few years? Thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.